count.
Jay, report today that Trent Williams isn't here, holding out for a new contract, possibly a trade. Were you aware of that? Have you talked to Trent, and just kind of what's that status?
We've been talking to Trent a little bit here and there. He's not here, you're right. As far as holding out for whatever reasons, that's between Trent and Eric and Bruce. So hopefully we'll get it all situated soon and get him back here.
What do you miss with him not here?
What do we miss with him not here? Well, he's the best tackle in pro football. So he's a great player for us, a great leader. We'd love to have him here without a doubt. I know the teammates support him, and we support him without a doubt. But hopefully we get it situated where he comes back.
It looked like you had Dwayne doing a little bit of 2-minute drill and going up against guys like Norman and Collins. So how did he handle that new additional part of the workload and with some more veteran defenders around him?
He did good. He's learning every day. He's doing an excellent job as far as just getting familiar with the offense and the terminology. He's got a great skill set. He can really spin it without a doubt. But now it's just a matter of transitioning to different defenses, different blitzes, handling the pressure, handling the looks, finding the open receivers, and delivering the ball. And I think he's on a great course right now. He's getting better every day from what I've seen.
How have some of the rookies progressed, guys like McLaurin, say, offensively? He was a guy you expected to be able to play right away. Is he on pace at this
McLaurin,
point?
Yeah. Terry's doing an excellent job. He can do everything. He can block. He can run the vertical routes. He can run the short intermediate routes. Ran an unbelievable double move today. I've just been very impressed with the total package of Terry, not just his speed, but his toughness, his attention to detail, his ability to finish plays, ability to block, line up correctly. He's just been outstanding in all phases.
There's obviously a lot to settle about the offense throughout the summer, from quarterbacks and running backs to the offensive line, and you've got Kevin O'Connell in the coordinator position for the first time. So in the last couple of months and up to OTA, how he's handled the job so far, coming from a former OC yourself.
It's been great. It's been a great communication process with him and Bill and Angelico and Randy Jordan, Ike Hilliard. All these guys have done a great job of communicating what they want to see out on the practice field, and then coaching it and then seeing it on the practice field. So he's done an outstanding job. We expect great things from the offense. Now it's about finding the right people and how they fit with what we're trying to run, and us trying to adjust to the people that we have as well. So this is an important time. I know it's just the summertime, early summer, but it's an important time for us to kind of gauge and see what we have. So when the summertime comes around, we come back for training camp, we can adjust our scheme accordingly.
Coach, could you give us an update on Colt McCoy, and is he at all falling behind by not being able to be out there?
I don't think he's falling. Well, anytime a quarterback can't go, he's it's an effect. You'd love him to take some reps, but obviously his health is more important right now than anything, and that's the most important thing for him. He would come out there and limp with a leg brace on if he could, but we won't let him. So it's just got to take the process for what it is. We have to listen to trainers and the doctors, and when he's fully healed, we'll get the word, and then we'll let him go. But he's still getting the mental reps, which is important. He's still in all the meetings in that regard. So when his time comes, and it'll come quickly, he'll be ready. They did a while ago, yeah.
How tough is it for you to really simulate your offense with Keenum and with Haskins behind this offensive line group you've got?
Yeah, it's tough. We've kind of messed around bringing in a bunch of tackles. We've tried to make some changes there, trying to take a look at a lot of guys, with Christian and Trent not here and Morgan practicing on a limited basis. It's been difficult a little bit on the outside, but we have to adjust. And those guys have to handle pressure, step up. They've done a pretty good job for the most part, but we have to try to do a better job of simulating drills where we can at least get some passes off without defensive line all around their body.
Jay, apologies, this repeating some. A few of us were held up, but is the deal with Trent? Has he talked to you? Do you have an idea why he's not here, and has there been anything with that?
I talked to him a little while ago, and Trent's. This is personal between him and his agent and the organization, and we'll handle it accordingly. But Trent knows that we all want him back. I want him back in the worst way. I know his teammates want him back in the worst way. But, at the end of the day, there is a business side of pro football, and that's what he's about right now. So we'll find out what happens.
What other follow-up to it? Reuben Foster, did he have an LCL as well as an ACL?
Yes.
He did.
Mhm.
Okay.
Was Dunbar being with the twos today predominantly, with Fabian being across from Josh, simply Dunbar working back in, or is that kind of how the depth chart is going to sit going into August?
No, it was just Dunbar working his way back, and it was his first practice, really. So he's just kind of working his way back, and he took some reps, and we told him to take a limited amount of reps based on how he felt. He felt pretty good, which is a good sign, and we'll build more and more to his reps as the next day comes about.
And what did you think of Josh, his first day back?
That was first day, did good. You know, he's in great shape. I knew that wouldn't be an issue. Josh takes excellent care of his body. You know, I was happy where he was mentally. Picked everything back up effortlessly and lined up, made a nice interception today. So it's good to feel his presence out there and see him make a play.
Do you have an update on Alex and how he's doing and sort of where he's at?
Yeah, I mean, Alex is, you know, he's recovering nicely. He's slowly but surely. It's going to be a little bit of time, but, you know, as soon as he's able to, he'll push it and get himself ready. But, you know, we'll just have to wait and see. It's going to be a pretty lengthy process for the most part, but once he's able to go, he'll recover a lot quicker than people anticipate, I'm sure.
We haven't seen Danny Johnson out there. What's up
He
with
was kept inside. Him and Darius were kept inside to do rehab.
And then with Paul Richardson, just obviously he played through that shoulder last year, but what do you think he can do fully healthy, and where is he kind of at? What do you think of him?
Well, that's what we're excited to see. You know, I think once training camp rolls around, he's fully healthy from his, you know, shoulder. I think we'll be able to see what he can bring to this football team. We had flashes last year with his speed, his ability to take the top off, but we expect that when he comes back fully healthy.
Going back to Trent real quick, there was nothing with his head, or that, you know, this tumor thing, or the procedure that he had. That's not really.
Yeah, he's still recovering. Yeah, he wouldn't be able to practice anyway. You know, he's still recovering from that, so he'll get that taken care of.
Jay, a quick follow-up on Alex. There were photos of him. Was he throwing the ball? Is he able to throw the football?
He can
Or
throw
was
it. He just, you know, he can play catch. Yes.
Okay.
That it? All right, thank you.
All right. You've got two new quarterbacks in the belly. I guess with Woodrum, you've got three new quarterbacks in the belly. But with Keenum and Haskins in particular, what's the acclimation process been like, and what are your first impressions on those guys?
First impressions, really on all three, they've done a heck of a job the whole spring. But our teaching progression from the offense, the way the rules are set now, we first get a hold of them during phase one in the meeting room, and we try to expose them to as much as we can. But then phase two starts, and we get to go out there and see how talented guys are. Dwayne got integrated towards the end of that post-draft. And then this is really where we start to kind of the learning curve just goes 1,000 miles a minute, because we can talk protection now. We can talk situational football. Today, 2 minute, there was 5 things that came up in those 2-minute drives where we got to go back and talk about, you know, you can't run with no timeouts in the red zone, you know, late in a 2-minute drive. You can't do things that they know, but they're so focused on plays, so focused on progressions and flipper calls and protections that they forget about playing football sometimes. So we got to circle back and make sure we hit all those. So the spring is a great time for teaching, but there's an end goal in mind of giving these guys the best possible chance to all compete for the job, you know, come fall training camp. So
last year you guys had Paul Richardson to give you that vertical threat. Now you've got him coming back, plus you add McLaurin.
Yep.
Obviously it's going to mean more chances to go down the field, but what does that mean both in terms of for you from a playbook perspective, how much more, I guess, can you go to? And then in terms of for Haskins in particular, what do you think that's going to do for him, for his particular skill set?
Yeah, I think his skill set fits with having some vertical speed on the outside, especially not only to just take the top off. I know that's a common term sometimes. We got to throw some of those balls, and we got to make defenses defend the entire field, not only vertically but sideline to sideline. And he's got the ability to really stretch the field. You know, you guys have seen him throw the ball outside the numbers, I think, pretty impressively this spring. Case can do it as well. But for the most part, having those skill sets, and Terry's been outstanding, and getting Paul Richardson back healthy will be huge for us just because he's a veteran presence that's been there, done that for that room, along with Josh Doxson outside. I think those young guys have some good examples to watch work every day, but at the same time, we'd love for there to be some competition amongst those guys in that room because there's no doubt that skill set's needed. And I think going back through the years of Coach Gruden's offense here, when those skill sets have been there, you guys probably can remember some of the times that the explosive plays really started to show up, which I know me personally would love to get back to. So,
what has jumped out at you with Dwayne so far?
Well, you spend so much time, John, evaluating the skill sets on tape. What did they do at Ohio State? And I have a relationship with Coach Day. I know the system, parts of it. I don't want to say I know the whole thing, but you know enough of it to be able to see some of the things that he's doing on tape at a really high level in college football, and you kind of form your evaluations of somebody. But there's nothing like getting them on the field here at Redskins Park, calling our plays, throwing to our players. You really start to see kind of where you can realistically set expectations for guys. And from a skill set, he's been wild. I know Jay's talked about it. It's not hard to see his skill set throwing the football. I've been really impressed with his ability to go through Coach Rattay's individuals and really not waste any time out there, knowing that every moment matters for him. And sometimes rookies can swim a little bit with all the information we're throwing at them and want a little bit of a deep breath and say, hold on a second, now let me get ready for this next period. But he hasn't been like that at all. It's just, what do you got for me next? Let's go. And even if he makes a mistake, he's been pretty good about not making the same mistake twice, which is something I'm really looking for from him throughout the whole spring.
Oh, Coach, I know that you're concentrating on a million different things, but watching the line and the rookies on the line especially, you guys had so many injuries on the line last year, and the continuity was wrecked, and you had to sign guys off the street.
Yeah.
Is there at least a hope this year that if and when you do have injuries, you've got in-house replacements this time?
Yeah, I think that's the goal. I mean, we drafted a couple guys. We signed, obviously, somebody in free agency and Eric Flowers, and then there's still those young guys that, although they were pressed into action last year, those guys are developing. Coach Callahan's the best in the business at developing offensive linemen. And even when he had to do it, and, guys showing up in the building on a Tuesday and he's coaching guys to play on a Saturday or Sunday, it was, you still saw those guys progressing. And then you add the draft picks, and then hopefully there's nothing like seeing Brandon Sheriff and Morgan Moses and hopefully Trent, eventually Chase Rouillet, seeing what that starting five is going to look like. Then we can kind of think about the depth at that point. But you're absolutely right. At this point, we're just focusing on our system, making sure these guys are learning. What things, when we say things, everything has a meaning in our system, and you spend a lot of time talking about it. Now we'll go back upstairs and evaluate, see where they're at, and Coach Callahan always evaluating the technique and fundamentals, just like we're doing with the quarterback, all of our position coach right now. That's really what the spring is all about. In addition to installing all this offense and sometimes overcomplicating things, we in fact need to teach technique and fundamentals to a lot of these guys because the things we're asking them to do could be foreign to them compared to what they did in college. So,
hey, Kevin, Cam Sims had a pretty big day, and over OTAs it seems like he's got a really good rapport with both Dwayne and Case. What do you think his potential is as you move forward here?
Well, everybody probably remembers, he was a playmaker in training camp last year from day one. Really pleasant surprise. We knew he could, we knew he had ball skills. We knew what he maybe potentially could be. But at Alabama, there was so much talent there. Maybe, the nation didn't get to see some of those plays. And then he shows up here. He's confident. He works extremely hard. He's got a great skill set for that Z position, which we're always looking for. And then, the injury happens, and he's kind of a forgotten guy for a year. We draft some young guys. We have some veterans coming back. But Cam's in a great spot right now. I think he's motivated to make sure that he's in the mix every single day. And when his number's called, you never can guarantee things in this system for guys. You know, scripting plays, you're trying to get this guy a choice route, or you're trying to get that guy a post or a go ball, and then Manusk decides to play a defense that makes the quarterback throw it here or there. So when his number's called, it could be few and far between, but it was good to see him really execute and make that deep play in 2 minutes. He made a couple other, caught the dagger, I think, at 7-on-7. So it's just good to see him showing up and finishing plays for sure.
Kevin, your star has been on the rise not only in the organization but around the NFL. A lot of people are kind of buzzing about you. I mean, what do you feel about like your new responsibility, your new role, and is there like a desire on your end this year to maybe get involved in some of the actual in-game play calling, or is that like I need a year to just concentrate on this?
No, I think for me, when I got here day one 3 years ago, I noticed right away, you know, Jay is one of those play callers that he gets in a great rhythm, but he's not afraid to ask for a call every now and then. He's not afraid to say, hey, Kevin, what do you like here? You're talking to the quarterback every day, every meeting as the quarterback coach, or even last year, you know, even transitioning, still working with the quarterbacks, transitioning to more of a passing game role. He relies on his coaching staff, just like he does Bill in the run game, Coach Angelico in the run game, in the pass game, and then us as a staff. When we game plan, it's really you know, everybody's got their responsibilities, but the best plays and the best ways of attacking the team we're playing get put on the call sheet, and Coach Gruden's going to call those plays. And if he ever needs a call, I've learned really quickly to have a call ready for him. I'm always trying to develop, and being around some of the coaches that I've got to be around as a player and a coach, it gives me that opportunity, thank goodness, every day to learn and potentially when he needs a call, it might be 3 calls in a game, it might be 10 calls, it might be no calls, but I'll be ready because I'm constantly evaluating myself. You know, am I ready to call a play? It's 3rd and 7 with the game on the line. What would I call here? And if Jay needs a call, I'll have it for him, but I'm pretty sure he'll be ready to go most times like he has been, and he's a wonderful play caller to be able to learn from every single day, just like a lot of the guys I've been lucky enough to be around.
Kevin, this is obviously your first time going through the spring as a coordinator, first time being in charge of the install. What are some things you wanted to do a little differently this year, and how do you think that process has gone?
A big thing for me, Craig, was just trying to make sure that we were getting the fundamentals and techniques taught on our base offense. Sometimes you get enamored with plays, right? You get enamored with install 10 and making sure, hey, did we get you're highlighting the install sheet, and you get through this playbook and you say, well, what did we really accomplish? So for me, it's been making sure that we're circling back on install 1. We've drafted a rookie quarterback in the first round. You want to make sure he's getting the plays that really, when I think about our offense, they make up our system. They make up the offense that's been put together over the years that I've been here and going back to years before I ever got here. So for me, it's just making sure we're getting those reps. We're getting back to the play action game. We're making sure we're moving the quarterback a little bit. 1st and 2nd down, to me, has been a goal of mine to get back to some explosive passes. And it's a product of a lot of things, but I think if we can run the football, which is always something we want to do, it's hard to really do when you're not wearing pads out here, but you can simulate running the right plays versus the right fronts, and then obviously the play actions, the keepers, the completion plays you want to call on 1st and 2nd down, and then leading into what we're working on just as much as anything, situational football is where, you know, you want to be as good as you possibly can be in 3rd down, red zone, 2 minute, because all of those things hopefully, you know, will help you not only train a young quarterback, but playmakers on the offense start to show up. The health of the offensive line start to show up. Your running backs, that really good running back room we have, you start to really feel how it's all going to get put together when the games start in the fall.
Coach, I'm not even sure exactly how to word this, but given and assuming that Dwayne Haskins grows to his potential the way everybody thinks he is, a special talent like that, I mean, he'll still have a lot to learn early in the season, but everybody assumes he's special. How much will you have to take into account the health and effectiveness of the offensive line before you make the decision to actually put him in a regular season game?
Yeah, obviously we're going to have a quarterback competition, and we're going to make sure everybody gets the reps that we need to see, not only in the practices but hopefully in the games, to really truly evaluate it and let Coach Gruden and our whole staff make the collective decision, hopefully, on who that guy is going to be. But anytime you have a young quarterback that you're invested in, like we are with Dwayne, it's a daily process training that guy, and you really don't want to look towards the end of the process now, because if he feels that at all, he might start looking ahead and not just look for tomorrow, making sure he has a really good minicamp number 2 practice. But as far as that, I hope we can put him in the best possible situation when the time's right for him to play. It's the guys up front, it's the guys outside, it's those running backs I just talked about, it's the guys on the other side of the ball. They maybe are playing really, really well. Special teams, this whole team hopefully comes together, and if he's the best guy, if he's won the quarterback job, I think we all will be confident putting him, out there day one. But like I said, we're in the role of developing him and trying to have not only the best quarterback room we can, but he's a young quarterback that we see with a really, really bright future. So let's not rush it, but I think it'll present itself probably to everyone, normally how these things play out, what the right decision will be. You got it.
You guys are one of the heavier run teams last year. How much do you think that was out of necessity? And with Paul Richardson being back and you drafted Terry and Kelvin, do you think the passing game can expand a little bit this year, or how do you kind of view that?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you talk about some of the injuries that happened last year. I mean, even in the room I was coaching last year, I remember coaching some formations, teaching a guy what trips right and double right meant in December. And that's not a good thing when you're talking about really attacking downfield. You want to hopefully be able to teach a guy snap counts and formations and motions. So when you're doing that in December, you're not really focused on, you're not really outcome based as much as let's just get this guy prepared to practice today. And with that, I think we ran the ball because we could rely on Adrian. We could rely on Chris Thompson. We could rely on Samaje and really try to set the quarterback up to have an easier process at the line of scrimmage. Situational football is always going to happen. Third down, red zone, the ball is going to be in their hands with everything that they're required to do to make us be successful. But first and second down, I know we've really tried to establish the run. In some of our games where we had a lot of success last year, we were winning the line of scrimmage. And we were able to kind of transition that into some explosive passes and maybe make the quarterback's job a little bit easier, which we were trying to do for guys that got here in December. So. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.